Welcome to IELTS Essay Builder. So we looked at lesson 1, and this is the feedback on lesson 1. So if you have not completed lesson 1, go and do that and complete your introduction, because if you haven't completed your introduction, this video will not make sense at all. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to give you feedback on your work. So we're going to look at some checklists that you can use to help you improve your own introductions. We're going to give you some samples that need improvement, and I'll talk about why they need improvement so you can learn from them. And then we'll look at some good samples from students that have produced good samples, and then we'll look at some VIP samples from my VIP group. Okay, so first of all, it's amazing to see so many of you taking action to improve your lives. The only way that you're going to improve your IELTS scores is by taking action, by learning what to do, by doing that thing, and by getting feedback on your work. So well done for doing that. And if you didn't get the work done, don't feel guilty and give up. Like, things happen, life gets in the way. Go back and complete it, and then you'll be able to make progress. So, first of all, I want to talk about criticism. So I'm going to give 3 feedback lessons in this course, and most of it will be criticism. It will be mostly me saying, this isn't good, you need to do this to improve. And the only way you will improve is to seek criticism and to use it to improve. And we only actually work with students that have this attitude because it's so key. You cannot improve your scores unless you have a very positive attitude to negative criticism. And none of the things we say are a criticism of you as a person. They're just designed to help you improve your writing so you can improve your life. So that's our main goal, is just to help you get the scores you need, and then you can move on and improve your life in whatever way. IELTS scores will help you do that. So, is feedback important? Yes, it's the most important thing. The lessons and tasks are just the first steps. However, they are a complete waste of time if you do not take action on your feedback. So, many people, when we've done courses like this before, what they'll do is they'll just look at the content videos. They won't actually do the tasks, and they especially won't look at the feedback videos because they think that they're not that important. But let's look at how important it actually is. So the first thing you need to do is you need to look and think. It is essential that you understand the feedback provided and think deeply about how it applies to your work. So we cannot give individual feedback on this course. We do that on other courses, but not on this course because it's a free course and there's so many people. But what you can do instead of getting individual feedback is you can understand the general global feedback we're giving today and think about how it applies to your own work. Then you can apply that, as I've just said. Honestly apply what you've learned to your own work and think about how it might apply to your work in the future. And then finally, adapt your work in accordance with the feedback and improve it. And repeat that cycle. And if you repeat that cycle, then you're going to improve. So, here was your homework task. And what I asked you to do was complete an introduction. So, there were 3 things that you needed to do. You needed to understand the question. You needed to paraphrase the question, and you needed to briefly answer both questions. So here's a little paraphrasing checklist. We'll look at the first thing that you needed to do, you practically needed to do first. So, first thing you need to do was, does the sentence mean the same as the question? Are there any vocabulary errors? And is the sentence grammatically correct? So if you can answer affirmatively to those questions, if you can say, yes, it does mean exactly the same as the question, no, there aren't any vocabulary errors, my vocabulary is good, and yes, this sentence is grammatically correct, then there's no problem with your paraphrasing. So let's look at each of these. Does it mean the same thing? So the question said, nowadays artificial intelligence is being used to drive cars. And this was a student sample. Nowadays, automobile industries are growing rapidly in these competitive markets with advanced technologies and artificial intelligence. Now, the question doesn't say anything about automobile industries or about them growing rapidly or about competitive markets. So this doesn't mean the same because they've included things that just aren't included in the question. Do not include things that are not included in the question. Let's look at this one. Doesn't mean the same. Due to our rapid life movement, the complexity of our life, and the high technology that we face nowadays. So the question doesn't say anything about your life. It doesn't say anything about complex life or fast-paced life or any of those things. So why would you include this? This is just them showing off or copying someone else's answer, which is not the thing that you need to do. Does this mean the same? So the automotive industry is rapidly developing for the last decade. Nope. And one of their latest inventions is utilizing artificial intelligence for car driving in order to make it safer and more convenient for people to travel. So does it say anything about safer and more convenient in the question? No. So why would you include it in your paraphrase? Does this mean the same thing? Artificial intelligence is the fruit of human beings' much toiled work. No, it's nothing to do with it. And you might think that I've went and picked some really, really bad examples. These are very, very common examples. These are not extreme. These are not, things that you don't see that often. You see these things over and over and over and over again. The other thing that you need to do is you need to change your sentence enough. A lot of the things that we see are people taking words and phrases from the question and putting them into their paraphrase. Now, you can include some things, but more than 50% of the sentence is directly copied from the question. If you copy one or two words, that's fine, but overall, you shouldn't copy like more than 50% of the question. Also, let's look at vocabulary. Artificial intelligence has expanded its plethora in utility vehicles nowadays. Now, what this student has done is they've memorized a list of vocabulary. Often you'll get websites, and you'll see it on YouTube and Facebook and places like this where someone will say, if you memorize these words and use these words, you'll get a high score. This is not true. You need to use these words effectively. You need to use these words appropriately. Just putting them into a sentence doesn't mean that you're doing anything correctly. Artificial intelligence to drive vehicles is getting more trendy in the world of advancement. So again, they're trying to use this word trendy. Trendy is not really appropriate. You use the word trendy to talk about fashion or to talk about trends in the world. You wouldn't really talk about it in this context. So these are examples of words that students are using because they think that it will impress the examiner, but they don't know enough about these words. They don't know the meaning. They don't know the context. They don't know the use. They don't know the collocations. They don't know how to use them in a sentence, basically. Don't use words you don't understand. Recently, automobiles are driven by robotics. So, robotics kind of related to artificial intelligence. You can have a robot that has artificial intelligence, but most robots don't have artificial intelligence. Robotics is not really precise enough in this context. So don't think about what word kind of means the same. You need to use words that mean exactly the same. Cars are driven with man-made techniques or functions. Again, this isn't really that accurate. You need or that appropriate. Again, four-wheelers. Four-wheelers, alright, I know what you mean. I know you mean a car, but you would never call a car a four-wheeler. Like, I would never say, I'm thinking of getting a new four-wheeler. You would say a car. A car is a car. Like, keep it simple. In modern life, self-driving cars are popular to transportation. So you'll see a lot of people trying to change the wording and change the vocabulary, but you need to remember that the grammar needs to be correct as well. Grammar is 25% of your total mark. Motorized cars controlled by artificial intelligence can be seen in modern days. Again, just small grammar errors can add up. If every single one of your sentences or most of your sentences have small grammar errors, and even though you think they're just small ones like punctuation mistakes or article mistakes or preposition mistakes, these add up and these can lower your score. Again, have a look at this. The artificial intelligence based on car driving is getting increased popularity in many countries these days. Again, just small grammar errors, but they will add up. Same with this person. This person needs to work on articles to make a computer software way as the intelligent humans. But the really great thing about this person is their main problem is just articles. So your main problem could just be one area of grammar, or maybe two areas of grammar, maybe like punctuation and verb tenses, or prepositions and articles. So this is great for this person because they know what to focus on, and they know that they can, improve that area by giving it their time and their focus. So let's look again at the paraphrasing checklist. Does the sentence mean the same as the question? Are there any vocabulary errors? And is the sentence grammatically correct? So apply that to your own sample that you have posted and corrected, and it will help you. So let's look at some good student examples. In recent times, it is not uncommon to see automobiles being driven by artificial intelligence. So does it mean the same? Yes. Are there any grammar errors or vocabulary errors? No. Good. Doesn't need to be fancy. Doesn't need to be showing off how amazing you are. Just needs to be effective. So now you need to write your outline. So here's a checklist for your outline. Did you clearly answer both questions? Are your ideas relevant and specific? And are there any linguistic errors? So let's have a look at this and tell me what the problem is. So have a look at it, pause the video, and think about what the problem is with this one. So the problem with this one is there's just way too much detail. You don't need to give this much detail. You need to be getting to the point. You put the detail in your main body paragraph. The introduction is really just introducing them to what is going on. You're not adding in all this detail. So again, have a look at this one and tell me what you think the main problem is. So pause the video and have a look and think about the main problem. So the main problem is way too many ideas. There should be two paragraphs, two main body paragraphs. Each paragraph is going to have one main idea. So you're going to have two main ideas, not more than that. So again, have a look. What's the problem? Again, too many ideas. Your introduction needs to match up with the rest of your essay. So you can't have, 3, 4, 5 main ideas in your introduction and then only 2 in your main body. That's the way it should be. So the main problem here is it's difficult to understand. Remember the purpose of writing. The purpose of writing is to convey a message to the reader. The person reading it needs to understand it. If they can't understand it, then there was no point in writing it in the first place. What's the problem here? Pause the video and think about it. So, problem here is it's way too vague. You do need two specific ideas. The purpose of